While the whole world is celebrating Christmas, Ukrainians continue to defend their right to exist, defending themselves against the Russian occupation army. The war has been going on for almost 3 years now, and during this time, many Ukrainian families have lost their family members who went to defend their land and were killed by the bullets of the Russian occupiers. Putin and his government want to take over the whole of Ukraine and destroy the entire Ukrainian population so that in his old age he can feel like an emperor, a great conqueror of Europe. He knows that he doesn't have much time left and he needs to hurry, so he doesn't spare his equipment or his soldiers. The war is very cruel, but despite this, Ukrainians are trying their best to deter and destroy the enemy for their survival. Today I'm going to show you real videos from the front line of the destruction of the Russian occupiers. I'm Hustler, let's get started. Now we can see how Ukrainians are dropping bombs from a drone on a Russian T-72 tank. The tank crew, 3 Russians, jumped out and tried to hide from the drone strikes. Meanwhile, another Russian tank continued to move and even started firing at Ukrainian positions. The Ukrainians started shooting at it with a grenade launcher. There were several misses, but one hit still destroyed the tank. After being hit, the tank began to burn, but despite this, it continued to fire, and then it exploded. After that, Ukrainian drone operators began to attack Russian infantry. Here is another destruction of a Russian tank by kamikaze drones. After the first hit, the drone pilot flies to check if the target is really destroyed. As you can see, the tank is on fire, but it needs another drone to completely destroy it. Now the tank is definitely destroyed. Another powerful defeat of Russian equipment by Ukrainian drones. Ukrainian drone pilots start dropping bombs on Russian equipment and infantry positions. The Ukrainians sent 3 kamikaze drones at this Russian tank. The tank's armor was strong, but it still could not withstand the drone attack and was destroyed. Frightened Russians began to flee wherever they could see, and Ukrainians continued to ruthlessly destroy Russian equipment. Ukrainian artillery also joined the attack and began firing at the Russians. The Russian tanks also tried to return fire, but in the end, they were still destroyed. Here, the Ukrainian drone operator found a Russian mercenary in the field. The Russian occupier tried his best to shoot down the drone, throwing various objects at it and trying to hide. During this time, he probably regretted signing the contract and going to fight on Ukrainian soil many times. Well, he made his own choice, and now he cannot escape the fate of all the Russian soldiers who came to seize Ukrainian land. The Russian occupier is trying to deceive the drone operator and buy himself some time. He runs around the trailer, trying to dodge, but all his efforts will be in vain. In the Pokrovsk sector, Ukrainian troops repelled an assault by Russian invaders using kamikaze drones. Kursk region, buffer zone of Ukraine. The Russian military is constantly trying to drive Ukrainians out of the area, throwing hundreds of heavy armored combat vehicles at the assault. The Ukrainian military is continuously firing artillery at Russian troops. For Ukraine, Kursk region has become a defense of Sumy and Chernihiv regions from Russian occupants. Ukrainian artillery is currently firing at 3 Russian armored personnel carriers with Russian troops. Russian armored personnel carriers were successfully stopped and destroyed. The Ukrainian kamikaze drone, while scouting the situation, spotted the Russians traveling in a buggy, but they did not drive for long. After the encounter with the Ukrainian drone, the Russians will now have to walk. Here, Ukrainians discover a Russian vehicle parked in a destroyed building. The drone operator takes aim and destroys the vehicle with a precise strike. The object was successfully destroyed. Here, a Ukrainian hexacopter, ahead of a tank moving along the road, dropped an anti-tank mine in its path. The Russian was not expecting it, ran over the mine, and then there was an explosion. Kursk direction. Russian troops are trying to break through the defense of Ukrainian positions and push Ukrainians out. The fierce and heavy fighting is ongoing, with the Russians sparing neither equipment nor soldiers. After a drone attack, heavy armored vehicles turn into hot metal. The armor fails, and pieces of metal fly in different directions. Here are some more video reports of the destruction of equipment for the end of November. Russians keep coming to Ukrainian soil, knowing that nothing good awaits them here. Well, they choose this fate for themselves, reproducing Putin's wishes. Ukrainian troops met a convoy of Russian equipment and began to attack it ruthlessly. Here, the occupiers left their armored truck without even closing the door. The drone operator took advantage of this and made a targeted strike. A similar situation. After such attacks, the armored vehicle burns down in a matter of minutes. An unmovable tank is also a very attractive target for destruction. That's all for today, friends. Subscribe to the channel to keep up with the latest developments. This video was prepared by Hustler. See you soon.